Imagine standing in a room with 3 mirrors arranged in a circle. You look into the first mirror, and you see the face you show to the world. It is smiling, agreeable, and polite. It is the face that wants to be liked. It is the face that nods when it disagrees and laughs when it is not amused. Then you turn to the second mirror. This is the face you show to your friends, your family, your tribe. It is looser, louder, perhaps a bit more honest, but still careful. It hides the dark thoughts. It hides the fears. It performs the role of the protector or the joker. Then you turn to the third mirror. This mirror hangs in the darkest corner. This is the face you see when you are alone in the bathroom at 3 in the morning. It is tired. It is hollow. It looks at you with accusation. The problem is not that you have different roles. A warrior is a soldier in the field and a father in the home. The problem is that these 3 reflections do not recognize each other. You have become a fragmented man. You change your shape to fit the container of the room you are in. At work, you are a submissive employee. With your friends, you are a loud cynic. Alone, you are a stranger to both. You call this adaptation. You tell yourself it is social intelligence. But deep down, in the quiet where the lies do not work, you know the truth. It is not adaptation. It is disintegration. You are exhausted because it takes a tremendous amount of energy to maintain 3 separate timelines of reality. You are living in a state of constant internal treason. Every time you nod at a statement you despise, you betray the man in the third mirror. Every time you act tough to impress a crowd while your spirit is trembling, you betray the truth. This fracturing makes you weak. A structure that shifts its foundation every time the wind blows will eventually collapse. You are building a life on shifting sand, and you wonder why you feel anxiety. You wonder why you feel like an imposter. You feel like a fake? Because you are one. But today, we stop the performance. We stop the acting. We look at the ancient concept of integrity, not as a moral nicety, but as a structural necessity for survival. Consider the bodyguard. He stands in the corner of a high society room. He is surrounded by the wealthy, the powerful, and the corrupt. He sees them drinking, lying, and plotting. He sees them wearing their masks. They offer him drinks. They offer him distractions. They try to pull him into their game. It would be easy for him to slip on a mask and join the party. It would be easy to become like them to gain their favor. But he does not move. He does not smile. He does not drink. He realizes something profound in that silence. His mission is not just to protect the physical body of his client. His higher mission is to protect his own internal perimeter. He knows that if he compromises his alertness for a moment of pleasure, he fails. If he adopts the soft habits of the people he guards, he loses the edge required to save them. He understands that his authority comes from his difference. He is the same man in the ballroom as he is in the training pit. He is the same man in the rain as he is in the sun. He carries his code inside him like a steel rod. The environment changes, but the steel does not bend. This is why he is dangerous. This is why he is respected. He does not need the room to tell him who he is. Most men are not bodyguards of their own souls. They leave the gate open. They let the mood of the room dictate their values. If the room is cynical, they become cynical. If the room is weak, they become weak. They blend in because they are afraid to stand out. They fear that if they show their true face, the one from the dark mirror, they will be rejected. So they trade their integrity for acceptance. it is a bad trade. You gain the applause of people who do not matter, and you lose the respect of the one person who does. Yourself. The lesson here is about alignment. Integrity comes from integer, integritas, meaning whole or complete. It means you are one thing. You are a solid block, not a bag of scattered stones. When you have one code that works in every room, you stop leaking energy. You no longer have to remember which lie you told to which person. You no longer have to adjust your personality like a radio dial. You simply walk in, and you are. This type of presence terrifies weak people. They cannot understand why you do not shapeshift. Your consistency makes them uncomfortable because it highlights their own fluidity. Let them be uncomfortable. But be warned. The mask you wear most often eventually becomes your face. If you spend 10 hours a day pretending to be a harmless, opinionless worker, you will eventually become that man. You cannot turn off the weakness when you clock out. It seeps into your blood. It changes your posture. It changes how you speak to your wife and how you raise your sons. You cannot be a lion on the weekend if you are a sheep all week. The brain does not work that way. Habits are the architects of character. Every time you put on the mask, the glue sets a little harder. One day you will try to take it off, and you will find that it has torn away your skin. You need a protocol to fuse these three versions of yourself back into one. You need a singular code that overrides social pressure. This is not about being rude or socially awkward. It is about being defined. You must write down your code, not a book, not a manifesto. 5 lines, 5 non-negotiables that define who you are, regardless of where you are. Line 1 might be, I do not speak words that are not true. Line 2, I do not complain about things I cannot change. Line 3, I keep my promises, even when it hurts. You must find your own lines. But once they are written, they are the law. They are the king, and you are the servant. If the code says you do not gossip, then you do not gossip, even if the CEO is doing it. If the code says you train every day, then you train, even if you are on vacation. The code travels with you. It is your passport and your shield. The second part of the protocol is the unseen act. The world rewards performance. It claps when you do good things in public. This feeds the actor, not the warrior. To kill the actor, you must do the work in the dark. Every single day, do one thing that proves your code, but do it where absolutely no one will see it. Pick up trash in an empty parking lot. Fix something in your house that only you know is broken. Help a stranger who can never pay you back. Do not tell anyone. Do not post it. Do not brag. This secrecy is the fuel. When you follow the code without an audience, you prove to your subconscious that the code is real. You prove that you are not doing it for the cookie. You are doing it because it is who you are. This builds a reservoir of self-respect that no insult can drain. When you know you are a man of honor in the dark, the lights of the stage cannot blind you. Finally, run a weekly audit. The mind is slippery. It likes to slide back into old patterns. Once a week, sit down with your journal and ask, where did I perform? Look back at the conversations, the meetings, the family dinners. Identify the moment you put on the mask. Identify the moment you laughed at a joke that wasn't funny. Identify the moment you stayed silent when you should have spoken. Do not beat yourself up. Just mark it. Acknowledge it. Then write down one correction for next time. Next time, I will speak my mind. Next time, I will not smile to please them. This correction is how you chip away the excess stone to reveal the statue underneath. There is a myth that implies being rigid is a disadvantage. People say you must be flexible to survive. They say you must flow like water. This is true, but they misunderstand the nature of water. Water takes the shape of the container, yes, but water never changes its chemical composition. It is always H2O. It can be ice, it can be steam, it can be a river, but it is always water. It never becomes wine just because it is in a wine glass. You can adapt your tactics. You can adapt your tone. You can be gentle with a child and ruthless with an enemy. But the core substance, the values, the truth, the code must remain identical. The weak man changes his substance. He becomes wine in the glass and poison in the bottle. The warrior changes his state, but never his soul. This is the difference between tactical adaptation and moral collapse. When you achieve this alignment, the war in your head stops. You stop fighting to remember who you are supposed to be. You just are. A calmness settles over you. It is the calmness of a mountain. The weather around the mountain changes. Clouds come, snow falls, the sun shines. But the mountain does not move. It does not try to be a cloud. It does not try to be the sun. It remains stone. People crave this solidity. In a world of fluid identities and confused men, the man of one code is a lighthouse. People will flock to you not because you are perfect, but because you are real. They can lean on you, and you will not break. They can trust you because they know exactly what you are. So, go back to the room with the 3 mirrors. Pick up a hammer. Smash the first mirror. Smash the second mirror. Leave only the third. Look at that tired face in the dark glass. Wash the paint off. Stand up straight. Take that man out of the dark and walk him into the sunlight. Let the world see him. Some will run away. Let them run. Those who stay will meet the man who finally stopped acting. The only question is, will you continue to be a scattered pile of masks, terrified of the wind? Or will you fuse yourself into one piece of steel, sharp enough to cut through the noise of the world? The choice is yours. One code, one face, one life.